Hey y'all, this is Hail Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Tyler Perry's Sistas. So before we get started, I have a quick question for y'all, see y'all opinion on something. So I'm very much so into the aesthetics of certain things. Like I like glasses, I like earrings, I like hair jewelry, which I have not really displayed ever since I've been on YouTube. Like I like a lot of different accessories or whatever. But today I have two pairs of glasses that I bought a while ago, and I was wondering if y'all thought that they were worthy enough for me to have prescription lenses put in them, because I think they're cute, but I don't know if I'm, gonna really do that. So here's the first pair. What y'all think about these? I think these are really cute, but I don't know if I should put prescription lenses in these. And the second pair, I live for anything that's like tortoiseshell. Like, I don't know what it is. I live for tortoiseshell. But yeah, this is what the second pair looks like. And see, these are tortoiseshell, but I think that the way that they're picking up on the camera, it's not really showing that. But yeah, y'all. And like I said, I have more coming. Y'all let me know if y'all think that I should go on ahead and pull the trigger on that, because I'm going to eventually go on ahead and do my eye appointment again, because I ain't had no eye appointment in quite a few years, because I felt like my prescription hasn't changed, but my taste in glasses, change a little bit from time to time, and I want something new. I still got them baby fat glasses in there some more from when baby fat was trying to come back out. Y'all, I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it to y'all, but yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this recap review. Y'all, thank you for putting up with my foolishness. So the episode began exactly where it left off last time, with Zach being arrested by the police officer who received Karen's police report. So he picked him up, and so he's like, why is this happening? Why are you doing this? And of course, because of Zach's past, he's very upset about it. And so he told him that he needed to calm down. And I just didn't like the way that they had the police officer react towards him. Because it's like, this is third strike, sir. You already know that this is his third strike. You know his past. So of course he's going to be upset, and he really going to want to know, okay, why is there a warrant out for my arrest? So he ain't answering him. He just keep telling him that he needs to cooperate. Man, he eventually puts him in handcuffs. And so Zach is like, well, what about my truck? I got a lot of stuff in my truck. What about the stuff in my truck? And so he was like, I'm sure your stuff will be all right. The tow company gonna come get it. Do I look like a Google search engine as far as like where they gonna take the truck to and all this other stuff? And so like Zach is like really like turning around and trying to ask him why he's walking into the car. And he was like, don't make me have to turn this body cam off and shoot you and end up on the news and lose my job. You don't want that to happen, do you? He was like, nah, I guess we don't. I'm just like, why? Why did he have to go to that extreme to say, please cooperate with me? I understand your frustration. Like, I feel like these people really do need more training. You dealing with the public, and y'all run people's background. Y'all know what it is. If it's somebody's first time ever popping up in your system, they probably would have the exact same reaction that Zach is having right now, considering this is about to be his third strike. So, of course, he wants to know what's going on. I would want to know, too. So, yeah, y'all, I ain't here for that. So, anyway, Karen is now at her shop. Her and Fatima come in at the same time. And she asking her what happened to make her hair look like that now. And she was like, well, I got pulled into the shower and all of that. And so she was like, oh, you had that type of night? And so she was like, yeah. And so she was like, it's a new guy. And I mean, they both are talking about Zach and Aaron respectively, but not saying names. And she, Karen eventually did let her know that, she's very into the dude that she's dealing with right now, but sex is not on the table. She ain't having it. And so Fatima looking at her like, why though? And she let her know that she has dated a preacher before, and it only lasted 3 weeks, because why cheat yourself like that? Life is too short. And so she was like, well, I'm really, really into this guy. And she was like, let me guess, he talking about waiting until marriage. And so she was like, yeah, how you know? So that's how she knew, because she's already been in that situation before. She tried it. She didn't like how that was going to go for her and being deprived in that area of the relationship. So she was like, nah, what I'm not fit to do is this, and continue to go and live her life. And so, you know, she was like, well, everything that you're describing about the preacher, you know, I have pretty much all of that except this guy, you know, just giving me money. You know, I appreciate a man with a vision. And she was like, well, my ex didn't even have that. So, I mean, and so she was like, well, you know, I'm sorry. And are you, you know, sure that this really is a guy that you're interested in like that? You know, you might still have feelings for the old dude. And so she was like, nah, I really, really like this guy. And I'm like, girl, bye. Y'all, I can't, the hair stylist in me was very disturbed by this scene, as I've been ever since this show started. Every now and again, they will have Karen supposedly doing something to somebody's hair in the shop. She's supposed to be straightening Fatima's hair, right? She ain't put no product on her hair. Like, she didn't put no type of heat protectant on her hair or nothing. They could have at least put heat protectant on the wig if it's a real hair, you know, having wig, and done something to straighten it out. She literally sitting up there with a flat iron that ain't on, or on super low heat, and putting it on her head, and then putting a section on, the section looking like a mess. I'm like, you're not straightening her hair. Why even do this? The least they could have done, if they weren't going to actually show realistic situations happening, which is her hair actually being straightened in sections, was, oh, well, let me spray some kind of fake product on her hair or something to make it look like I'm prepping it at least. That stuff like that irks my soul, y'all. Sorry, I can't help it. That type of attention to detail, stuff like that irks my soul. Sorry I had to bring it up, but that just really bothered me, because she's sitting up here, she got one piece right here, and it's still obviously curly. Then she went to the back, and I was like, what? Y'all, anyway, my bad. Let me go on here to the next scene. Preston and Dani are at her apartment after he has been taking ice baths, and he's looking a lot better. And so she even said, so she was like, well, I guess you know what you're talking about with the ice baths. So do what you do. So they were having a little moment, and Preston is a lot like me in regards to what he was talking about, which was, he was like very like antsy, because even though he knows that Dani has agreed to allow him to stay with her, he is just like, okay, I gotta find something else, because I ain't got time to just be sitting at the house. So his plan is to call one of his cousins that lives in Alabama, because they have land that he can work on or whatever, and he's really cool with him, and he ain't nothing like his raggedy brothers and things. So yeah. So she was like, well, how far away is that? This fool said 3 hours. I was like, sir, why? You finna go to work every single day driving 3 hours one way. I hope that ain't what your plan is, because that ain't making sense. Now, unless he plans on going down there, staying for 3 to 5 days, and then coming and being with Dani on the weekends, then I'm not understanding how this is going to work out, because I'm very understanding of the fact that he wants to continue to make money, but he can't do that any longer with his raggedy brothers in Georgia. So it's like, you're doing too much, sir. I don't know what you think you're finna do, but that's pretty far. So yeah, why they weren't in the middle of talking, because he was just like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do in the meantime. Because she was like, you don't have to, you know, come to a decision about it right now, do you? And he was like, no, I guess I don't. So she ended up propping his feet up, his legs and feet up on the couch, trying to help him to understand this is what relaxation is about. Just sit at the house, watch TV and relax, because she going to work. He don't understand that. Like, there are a lot of people that don't really understand the meaning of, okay, sit down somewhere and relax. Like, my daddy literally just started doing that in recent years, and he been retired since I graduated from high school. Like, he retired months before I graduated from high school and threw everybody off, because we was just like, what is going on here? It was just so random. He was just like, I'm done. Work for the state of Alabama. Bye. And it was like right before I graduated high school. So we was just like, what? Like my mama was even shocked. Like we thought he was just going to be there for 25, 30 years and then retire after me and my sister at least have gotten into college. But he said it off rip and was like, yeah, like months before I graduated high school. So yeah, like I said, my daddy just learned how to sit down, and he like still works even though he don't have to. And he goes in on specific days, and then let the weather be bad on the days that he's supposed to go in. Oh, he'll be off the whole week, and they be looking for him with a flashlight in the daytime. And it's oh well. But anyway, y'all, tell me why. But Looker came to the door. And somehow I knew that he was going to pop up at least one more time. Even though Dani tried to reassure him that he ain't going to be coming over there. Nah, she ain't got no dealing with him no more. This fool done rolled all the way up. I was like, and I ain't got my glasses on watching this. So I'm like, I know that ain't the dude who was eating booty, eating groceries and things. And that him. And it was him. Lord. Preston called her and told her that he was out there, and he done brought in a canvas. I don't know what's on it. Don't nobody know right now. But he was like, yeah, so I was working out and I felt like I should come over and see what was going on with you. And like, he really came in like, to me, he came in like he knew he was finna get a piece of something, even though she wasn't here for it. And I'm like, why are you here? I wouldn't even let, if I was Preston, I wouldn't even let him in the door like, excuse me, what you want? At the most, I would have at least called Dani and told her that somebody is here to see her and stay outside. You ain't finna come up in here no more. So anyway, Dani came to the front and was like, what are you doing here? I don't understand. And so he was like, well, I thought of you and I got something for you. And so she made it plain like she don't want nothing to do with him. And then this fool got the audacity to come out of his mouth and say to her, well, can you at least give me $45 for the canvas that I used to do this? And she was like, you know what? I got you. And so she wrote him an IOU for a butt whipping. And he, of course, walked off and he didn't want to hit it. So Preston was like, well, he went through the trouble of bringing this over here and doing whatever it is. We need to see what it is. See what old butt liquor was up to. So Preston looked at it and was like, oh. Like, even Preston was impressed by whatever in the world is on the canvas. And so she was like, oh, okay, now about all that. You know what? You actually have something that you can do now. You can like break that up into little pieces. You can run it over with your truck. That's what you can do today, you know, because she could tell he don't want to sit down nowhere. He don't understand relaxation and just doing nothing. So, yeah, I'm just like, oh, my gosh. But she was like, yeah, ain't got time for that. And she finna go get ready for work. Child, Gary done rolled up on Andy while she was in the parking deck at her job. I done told y'all over and over again, I cannot stand those type of parking decks. People can roll up out of the bushes that don't even exist in there. I can't. They really can roll up from behind a random vehicle or from behind one of those pillars. If you ain't never been in a parking deck like that, I ain't never been here for them. I hate them. I hate those types of parking decks, y'all. I cannot. Woo, child. The memories of when I had to visit the children's hospital in Georgia. Jesus, no. Anyway, so he done rolled up and he was like, well, I know how you feel. It's only gonna take me 5 minutes. I'm leaving. And he over here trying to gauge her to see how she really feel about him and if she gonna break and be dumb like she's been dumb before. And so she is basically paying him dust and was like, okay, I hear you. And then she was like, so were you expecting to get a different reaction out of me or something? And so he was like, I mean, yeah, I thought you would. I mean, you could just do like that. You could just be like that and just cut off all feelings like that. So this fool and his feelings, he got the audacity to be his feelings. Y'all, I'm sitting here like, you know what, goodbye. I am tired. Where my bags and where's my drink? Bye. Goodbye. Like, it's time. Girl, let's go, girl. Don't nobody have. Y'all, I'm about to get up and leave this episode like I'm in the episode watching this mess in real life. I'm so tired. So anyway, he over here in his feelings. And so she was like, I have bruised ribs from when you squeezed me so tight that I passed out. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. Boy, get on. It's the mental instability for me, and it's going to always be there. Get your behind somewhere and go collect your mental illness check. Like, he just, y'all, it's something wrong. He need to go get that check. He needs to go get mental help to see somebody. Like, and I'm not trying to read nobody. I'm not trying to come in nobody sideways. A whole lot of people have mental problems that we come in contact with, whether they have addressed them and acknowledged them or not. I'm just saying, this dude right here, he has a special place that he needs to be going to and needs to be in a corner with a straitjacket on. Because I just can't. So anyway, Fatima done rolled. I said either this is Fatima or Hayden. And I was like, please don't let it be Hayden, because Hayden just, ugh. So it was Fatima. Fatima done rolled up, and she done got out of her truck, and she rolled up. And then she asked her, she was like, Miss Barnes, are you okay? And then she let her know that they had like somebody coming or whatever. And so she said, I have to go to work. And they walked off. And so they walked off, and he was like, I was like, boy, if you don't get somewhere. Sabrina is at work early, as she normally tries to be, especially since she's a manager. And I think his name is Jabari. Jabari came. And so he's pretty early, considering he's a teller. And so she's like, oh, what are you doing here? It's really early. And he was like, well, I actually work out and then I come to work. And so she was like, do you do that every day? And he was like, yeah, pretty much. And she found out that where she goes to work out with her girls doing their spin classes and whatnot is the exact same gym that they go to. And so they both are like, no, you don't go there. I ain't never seen you there before. And so the reason why they haven't seen one another is because they do spin classes and, you know, don't work out how he works out. So he was kind of like, well, maybe I can, you know, see what the spin class is all about if I can get a chance to see you outside of work. Well, he actually invited her to taste some coffee that he brings from home that is Colombian. And so she was like, okay, maybe. And eventually within the conversation, he asked her out on a date to see if she wanted to do coffee outside of work. And she was like, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm your boss. We work together. And he was like, okay, what about this? We both go to lunch. We can meet up for sandwiches. I'll sit down and, you know, you'll, you know, come along. And, you know, while they're in the middle of talking, Maurice pop up. And so he was like, sit down where? And so she was like, how did you come in so quietly? He was like, because I'm a ballerina. So they both say good morning to Maurice. And Maurice is like, I don't care about y'all saying good morning to me. What was y'all talking about? I want to know what y'all talking about. What is y'all talking about? So anyway, and, you know, old boy was like, let me go ahead, go about my business and get ready for work. And Maurice is trying to get Sabrina to tell him what was said. And she was like, nothing was said. And then she was like, it ain't your business. And he was like, well, you know you're going to want to know information about Calvin at some point. And so she was like, no, I won't. And so he was like, you will. My thing is this. I wish that Sabrina would just go on ahead and say what it is for her. Just say, I'm used to this. I mean, I think she said it before, but not boisterous. She hasn't said it just like really letting people understand fully that that's the type of dude she liked, which is not necessarily what's good for her. And that reminds me of an earlier conversation that happened before both of them got there, which was Dani called her and told her that she was sorry about what happened, because y'all know she called her and Preston was over there and she couldn't really talk. And so she let her know that, you know, Preston said that it wasn't a bit and she doesn't believe that it was a bit, and he really likes her and he's sweet and all this other stuff. So this is when Sabrina was like, Dani, you don't like sweet. Like, you, all the things that you're saying about Preston, you don't like that. You like roughnecks and all of that. And so she was like, yeah, but, you know, I can change. And so basically she said the same thing about Sabrina. And she was like, yeah, you don't normally like sweet like that. So she was like, but I know you don't want to talk about that. I was like, oh, Lord. So anyway, they had their little moment and they were talking, and then old boy came in and she was like, I think that I like him and want to try to talk to him and Jabari. And so she was like, who is this? Because she hasn't told anybody about him, what's been going down. And so she was like, it's a guy who works here. He's been here for a few days and, you know, I don't know. And so she was like, send me his page, send me his information. And so they got off the phone, and this is when everything else started happening. So anyway, Moving right along. Andy is at work, finally in the building now. She's going over a file. Fatima's talking to her. And she let Fatima know that she feels as though she's a good friend and thanked her for that. And she was like, no problem. And she was like, I just don't know how I can handle this situation because I'm in love with somebody who I don't need to be in love with because he hurt me. And I can't even bring this information to my sisters. And so she was like, we've all been there. I understand. So Miss Irene, who is Paris's mama, she walked by and Fatima waved at her. And for right now, they are like on the morning shift and they usually just clean the building when everybody gone. Well, Miss Irene was about to walk by and she was like, oh, well, I'll come back. And she was like, you know, no, you can come in. And so she said that she wants to ask Miss Irene a question. And so at first, Miss Irene was like, nah, I don't even know if I want to go into this. And like, she really was about to dip on her or something terrible. And so she goes into it and she was like, how do you deal with being in love with somebody who hurts you? And so Fatima kind of felt like it was a really personal moment and maybe she needs to dismiss herself. But Andy was like, nah, I want you to stay. I might need backup or whatever. And so she stayed. And she was talking to her and she was like, look, you know what I'm saying? There's a passage in the Bible that basically says that the way that she described it is very relatable. She was like, you're in the baby, how did she say it? The newborn baby fever phase or something like that. Anyway, basically you're focusing on the beauty of what has happened, and that's the part you can't let go because of the good stuff that you've seen, but you're not thinking and recognizing the terrible things that have happened and the sorrow that was within the bad parts of that relationship. So that's the problem. But the way she worded it, y'all, Fatima was like, wait a minute, what was that scripture? I got to write this down. And Andy was even looking at her like, girl, she was like, what? That was everything. It really was, though. John 16:21, she's focusing on the beauty and not the anguish. And I'm telling you, Fatima really got her life when she said that. Miss Irene had to let Andy know that you can love somebody but set them free and not have to hold on to the things that y'all had together. And at the same time, she was like, but he was a married man, so, I mean, was there really love to begin with? Like, was he yours? No. So it's like, girl, bye. So anyway, she was like, well, thank you. You always give amazing advice and put it on my tab and all this other stuff that she left. So y'all, I'm tired. So anyway, Zach is in jail. We see him sitting up there and the woman who he used to mess with on and off and play with her feelings or whatever way back in the day, Lord. She rolled up and she was like, here you go again. And so he didn't know what was going on, why a warrant was issued for his arrest. She told him credit card fraud. So he trying to understand how. And he was like, I never got my phone call. At first she was like, I'm not helping you with that because I didn't process you. I didn't do your paperwork. And she had her cell phone out and he was like, please help me. And she was like, no, I helped you last time and I shouldn't have helped you then. So anyway, she gave in, let him use the phone. He called Fatima. Fatima didn't answer. He left a message telling her that he was in jail. Oh man, why is it when he got off the phone, it's like she's so triggered. I'm gonna need for her to get over the hurt. Like, girl, get over it. I mean, like, she was so hurt, y'all. And I gotta figure out who this actress is because her face is not ringing a bell right now, but I know I have heard her distinctive voice before. I know who she is. I'm gonna have to look her up. Hopefully they have her on the thing so I can see, because it's been bothering me. Every time they have her pop up on here, I can never think of who she is. But anyway, but she is so bitter. I mean, he even had to tell her, you're gonna have to let that go. Like, that was a long time ago. This heifer was like, you need to lose my number. It seemed like you just love being in here. And I'm like, girl, I just cannot wait till they say who the real person was, because I'm sick and tired. Hayden's old trifling, arrogant behind rolled up on Fatima while she was in her office asking her out to dinner. And she done told him over and over again, no, I'm good where I'm at. So he is insinuating that if she has plans later on with Zach, she might want to cancel them. And she was like, what you mean? Let me find out you've done something, and then it's going to be a problem. And so he was like, well, if you find yourself free, you know you can call me up, right? And I'm just like, y'all, I told y'all it's either Hayden or Aaron who's done all of this. I am so tired. So Gary's trifling behind and popped up at Karen's job, and Karen just went to the back because she about to go on her break and go, well, not really a break. She about to go make a run to the bank. To, you know, of course, where Sabrina works, because they have like ain't no more banks in life in Atlanta, but whatever. Anyway, so Pam is like, you know, how can I help you? And she trying to be in flirt mode and doing the most and just, and I'm just like, girl, if you don't get somewhere and sit down. And she wants to know what business he has with her and all of this. And he was like, I just need to talk to her. And then he was like, well, I'll just get a haircut. I'll wait for her. I'll do what I got to do. And so she was like, we only deal with appointments only and all of that. And so he was just like, well, I'm just going to wait. So she ended up coming from the back telling Pam, you know, I'm about to make this run. Hand me my purse. And so she's saying what she's saying to her. And then he turned around and she was like, what you doing here? And so like she already on ready looking at him like, oh, what you doing here? And he was like, I need to talk to you. All this other stuff. And so she was like, don't you ever in your life. So she was like, I ain't got nothing to say to you. Ain't nothing to talk about. Bye. So she got her purse from Pam and went outside. So of course he's trying to talk to her. And he was like, I need you to pass the message along to Andy, letting her know that I love her and whatever. So she was like, she has bruised ribs. And so she was just like, nah. Anyway, don't ever in your life come over here and pop up at my job no more and leave Andy alone. You obviously have not heard about me. I will shoot you in the daytime with no problem. Do you hear me? Don't ever in your life come over here no more. Don't bother me. So then when she on her way to the bank, she called Andy, asked her how she was doing and all this other stuff. Andy said she was doing good and that Gary hasn't been calling her. And so I'm shocked that she told her, because I felt like she didn't want to trigger her, because she already know good and well she still loved that man. But she told her that he popped up at her job and wanted to get them back together and all this other stuff. And she told her that she told him off. So anyway, she was like, you know, are you sure you good? Are you sure you all right? So then anyway, we get back to Zach. This is the end of the episode. Zach is in his cell, and the heifer who is the police officer that's obsessed with him that rolled up very angry and furious. She talking about, I thought you said you were going on the straight and narrow. I read your whole report. Not only did you have this credit card fraud, you over here, you really over here, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't no good. You over here, you had a kilo or a half a kilo of drugs in a tie and all this other stuff. And he over here pleading with her, trying to get her to understand that it ain't his. Like, you could just see the look on his face. You can look at him and tell he feel like his life is completely over and he's being framed. Y'all, Hayden, now it's looking more like Hayden did it, especially because of how he rolled up on Fatima earlier. But anyway, y'all, hopefully y'all enjoyed this recap review of Sistas. I'm tired in my spirit. A lot gonna go down next week from what I saw in the preview. Y'all have a good one and be safe, y'all. I'm about to go somewhere and hopefully this will be uploaded, because we have an ice storm that's in the midst of happening right now. And I'm about to, you know, relax and play my video games and do what I'm going to do until it really hit. All right, y'all have a good one. Bye.